I'll be honest with you, for me, Gears 5 is like a guilty pleasure. The main reason why I bought it is that I wanted to check out how Xbox Live integration works in the Steam version of this game. After all, it was the first big game from Microsoft that was released simultaneously on Steam and Windows Store. I can't say that I was very interested in actually playing it. In my eyes, it looked like another seasonal blockbuster that I would play once and then quickly move on to the next thing in my backlog. But instead, I ended up enjoying this game a lot more than I thought I would. At this moment, I've played it for over 120 hours, and I'm afraid those numbers might not be final. So now, after completing the story campaign and 2 operations of online matches, I'm ready to tell you why I've enjoyed this game so much. Let's clarify, I was never a big fan of the Gears of War franchise before. I've played some of the old games from this series, but never finished any of them. So yeah, I'm still surprised that this time it clicked for me so well. It's hard to explain why exactly I ended up having so much fun with this game. I realize it's not perfect, but at the same time I couldn't stop playing it. I think the main reason why that happened is because Gears 5 simply feels great to play. The gunplay, animations, sound, it's all done on such a good level that the gameplay loop just never gets old. The Coalition refined the core gameplay of this franchise, so it's very enjoyable on a basic level, such as movement and shooting. Yeah, it's a cookie-cutter cover-based TPS game, but I mean, Gears of War is literally the series that started this trend, so it's understandable. It doesn't mean that the Coalition hasn't tried to experiment with the classic formula, but the results are, well, mixed. The most drastic changes happened with the story campaign. While the first and the last acts remain mostly linear, developers tried to add some sort of open world in the middle of the game. It's not fully open, but more like a hub that connects important locations and has needless side activities like quests and collectibles. It reminded me of the kingdom from the original Assassin's Creed. It's huge, empty, and serves no real purpose except to waste your time. It simply doesn't feel natural, it's just a bunch of narrow roads with nothing worthwhile in between. Level designers of Gears 5 missed one important point. In open world design, it's not enough to just create a huge map and fill it with the garbage that you need to collect. If you want to create a good open world, you need to fill it with some sort of meaningful content and add random events like groups of enemies roaming around. Gears 5 still heavily relies on scripted events, and that's why the open world in this game feels half-baked and empty, even though it has some cool ideas like the skiff to glide across the open areas. The Coalition didn't succeed in creating a good open world, but it's not the only experiment they've tried to make. Another big addition to the gameplay is Jack, your flying robot companion that can activate special abilities and help you in the fight. And this new mechanic is actually not so bad, because it adds a new tactical layer to the combat. For example, you can use the hijack ability to mind control Scions or other enemies and make them temporarily fight on your side. Also, Jack can be controlled in co-op by another player, and it has absolutely different gameplay loop, which adds to replayability. Jack is the main reason why you should care about the open world stuff at all, because you are getting upgrades for him as a reward for completing side missions. The linear sections in Gears 5 is exactly what you can expect from this series. A lot of brutal action with occasional cinematic intermissions in between. I can't say that the story in this game was something amazing, but it's competent enough to keep you entertained, even if you didn't follow the storyline of the previous games from this franchise. The campaign has a few unexpected twists, and level designers tried to provide different combat situations as well. Like, I loved that on some of the winter levels you can break the ice and freeze the enemies. Or there was a part in the sand areas where the storm wind could affect the trajectory of grenades. I think that overall it was a solid and well-balanced campaign, and my only complaint is going to be about the Matriarch boss fight. It took me way too much time to beat it, and it's obvious that this fight was not designed for a solo playthrough. It was a very frustrating experience. I can't say how many times I was close to killing this goddamn thing, and then this happened. Anyway, it's good to see that the coalition is trying to do something new, and after completing the campaign, I left with the feeling that it was just a testing ground for the studio. In Gears 4, the new team has tried to simply replicate the gameplay of the classic trilogy. In Gears 5, they dared to experiment a little and add new elements to the familiar concept. So if developers won't mess it up, we'll see the actual results of this evolution of the franchise in the next mainline game, and I'm very curious to see how far they will dare to go next time, especially after what they did in the ending of Gears 5. Judging by what we got now, Gears 6 is going to be an even more ambitious game, and it will be interesting to see if the coalition will be able to deliver the result comparable to their ambitions. Okay, enough about the campaign. It's time to talk about the main reason why I've spent so much time in this game. I'm not very into online and always preferred a single player experience, but Gears 5 got me hooked almost instantly. As a fan of the arena FPS genre, I've enjoyed the fast-paced gameplay of PvP modes in this game a lot. I also have fun occasionally playing the Horde mode, though it requires a lot of time to finish all the waves. I seriously don't understand what's the point of showing the unskippable score screen after every wave. It just ruins the pacing. Also, I'm not sure that turning characters into heroes with their own skills and specialization was a good idea, because without a balanced team, any Horde match on a difficulty above advanced usually ends within the first few waves. But my favorite part of Gears 5 Online is a brand new co-op mode called Escape. In this mode, you and two other players are trying to break from the swarm hive before it will be destroyed. Just as in the Horde mode, each character has their own ultimate abilities and customizable skill set, but it makes a lot more sense here. In most cases, you start escape run only with the pistol and have to find ammo and weapons on the map. There are also specific difficulty modifiers for each map, like in some cases you'll have invisible juvies, or there will be less ammo to scavenge on the levels. Maps are rotating each week and have leaderboards, which has motivated me to come back to the game and try to beat a new challenge. Not to mention that there is a map editor that allows you to create and share your own custom maps. For me, Escape is still the main reason to come back to the game. It's great that we are getting new challenges every week, and it always remains fun even if you play with random players. Though there is another reason why I've played Gears 5 for so long, and I'm not sure that it was a good reason. Yes, I'm talking about Battle Pass, or how they call it in this game, Tour of Duty. At first, it didn't look like something bad to me. I was actually glad that the game gives me rewards for playing it, because I was returning to it often anyway. But then I somehow didn't notice the moment when, instead of playing the game for fun, I started playing it daily just for the sake of completing Tour of Duty challenges. I realized how much time I spent on the grind only when I reached the final rank, and after that I stopped playing the game for an entire week. I ended up spending almost 85 hours to complete the first operation, and that's including boosts that I got for buying Ultimate Edition. Good thing that you don't need to pay any additional money for that, but still, I think they need to balance it better, because there is no way in hell I would do that again. In one of my recent videos I've talked in detail about why I don't like Battle Pass mechanics overall, so if you are interested in this topic, you can find the link on it in the description or at the end of this review. Alongside with Battle Pass, Gears 5 has an in-game store where you can buy skins and emotes with Iron, a premium currency that you can get in small amounts for free. I don't like seeing microtransactions in paid games, but the coalition said that it was added to justify getting all new updates and maps without forcing players to pay additional money for them, so I didn't mind it at first. They also added new characters that you could have unlocked for free by completing challenges, which was also fine by me because I was grinding Tour of Duty anyway. But then the second season started, and all we've got is 3 basic PvP modes, 4 new heroes, and a bunch of recycled maps. The most annoying thing about that was the fact they've made it a lot harder to unlock new characters for free. In the first operation, with the exception of one special challenge, you had general objectives that were the same for every character, so it was relatively easy to unlock them if you were playing all online modes. But in the second operation, new characters have their own very specific challenges, and it's pain in the ass now to unlock them just by playing the game. And the most ridiculous thing about that, you can't do challenges for all characters at once, so it can take a few hundreds of hours to unlock them all for free. Yeah, thanks, but I'll pass. This is bullshit. Thankfully, those characters are not required to keep having fun online, and if you don't care about multiplayer modes, you shouldn't worry about this stuff at all. To conclude this review, Gears 5 has a few major flaws, but if you enjoy fast-paced games and not strongly against some typical AAA bullshit, then I recommend you give it a try. Even if you are not interested in multiplayer and co-op, it has a decent single-player campaign that is fun to finish at least once. And as I've said before in my quick look video about this game, on a technical level the PC version of Gears 5 is flawless. It is well optimized and has tons of options that you can tweak. I just only hope that the developers will listen to the feedback and continue to improve the core gameplay, so the next mainline game in this franchise will be something truly great. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to see you guys again on my YouTube channel.